All right. Okay. We've got a happy, excited bunch of people here. So let's go ahead and let them in the door. And for those who haven't been here before, you can hear my silly jokes I usually tell about, like, I always picture people like physically running through the door and everybody kind of jamming up in there. But it's a happy little Friday image for me. I don't know. Everybody else needs a little break at the end of the week. But we're going to get going here. If you're new here, my name is Valerie. I'm on the board at USDLA. I'm a past president, and I'm so glad you joined us today. And I see familiar faces in the waiting room, and we'll let them in, and also in the room with us today. So welcome back, those of you who have joined us again. You are in for a big treat today. I have not seen this exact presentation, but I have seen many presentations by our speaker today, and they're always wonderful. So that's why I was so grateful when she said yes. And I said, come on, come join us. So, all right, I think we've got most of the people in the door for a second, and then and Dr. Frederick is back this week. I was just telling her she needs to go watch your replay. So I'm going to mention that to everybody in just 1 second. So I should just go ahead and tell people that. So I know you all are here today to see about the Metaversity. So this is going to be exciting. Let some people in there. All right. But I was also going to mention that we have a special webinar coming up. It's on a Tuesday. So note that, not a Friday, Tuesday. And that one's going to be about neurodiversity. So another topic that we get a lot of requests about. And as you know, I'm always happy to take requests. I'm like your favorite DJ here. Take requests. If there's a topic that you want to hear about, if there's a speaker, if you are a speaker, whomever, let me know and we will try to get you into the rotation. All right, so stay tuned for that. That's on October 28th. Again, Tuesday, a little different scheduling than usual. Also at a different time, it'll be 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern, not our usual 1 to 2. All righty, as I mentioned, it's so exciting. He's in the house today. So if you have not had a chance to go watch the replays from our last webinar from a couple of weeks ago, please go check that out. Really cool stuff. Really, 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 I brag on him all the time. So I don't want to embarrass him. He'll start blushing. But you can see that and a lot of the other replays over at USDLA.tv. That's the YouTube channel. So if you forget that, just go to YouTube, look for USDLA, you'll find us. Lots of good stuff over there. Some of the recordings, however, such as one we did recently with the University of Central Oklahoma, those are in the member archive. So if you're not already a member, great time to think about it because you'll get even more amazing content and some other goodies that I'll tell you about later. Some dates to mark on your calendar. Don't forget, National Distance Learning Week is coming up, first week of November. It's a whole week of free content. They're focusing this year. The theme is the AI Great Disequilibrium. Why didn't they give me an easier word? Anyway, that's what it's about. They have 10 sessions plus a daily sort of talk show that you can come in, chat, sort of network the beginning of each day. So please mark your calendar, check that out. Also in January, we'll also have free programming as part of the Public Policy Week. And those speakers are going to be on the website shortly. I don't think they're quite up just yet, but stay tuned for that. Also save the date if you can join us next summer, June 22nd to the 25th. The conference this year will be in Cleveland, Ohio, because Cleveland rocks, and so do you and all of us that do distance learning. So you can mark your calendar for that. And I'll mention that right now, the call for award submissions is open, as is the call for speaker submissions. So please just go to the website, go to USDLA.org and check that out because it's got all the details there, or you can reach out to me or anybody at USDLA and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions. But those are both open until, as you see, December. So you have a little bit of time, but don't wait till the last minute. Do it, get it started now because, you know, holidays and breaks and things. Member participation matters. Both of those awards and conference registration, you do get discounts if you are a member, as well as other benefits. But also just this organization is primarily volunteer run, and it would not be possible without member support of both those of you who come in and volunteer, as well as members who join us. So we appreciate that. And I also want to do a quick thank you also to keep the lights on and the Zoom room open and all that. We do have a lot of wonderful corporate sponsors and partners as well. And you can see a number of them on the screen right here. Platinum. On the Platinum, we have John Chin's Engaging Virtual Meetings. He's our virtual producer that does all of the live streaming and everything from the conference. He also has his own event coming up this month. If you're interested in virtual engaging meetings, you see a lot of others. Special shout out to Verizon. You might have seen in the newsletter this week, we were talking about their Skills Forward program. Great program for people to go and get a lot of great courses for free. And we like that word. That's in everybody's budget right now, I think. So again, if you see somebody on here you're familiar with, please go speak to your rep or go check out if it's somebody you're not familiar with, because these do run the gamut of products and services and hardware, software, everything in between. And also a huge thank you to our bronze sponsors and exhibitors and friends. I feel like every week when I do this, there's a few different names on there. So if you see somebody new that you're not familiar with, please go check them out as well. So with that out of the way, just want to get the infomercial portion of, of our presentation out of the way. I want to turn things over to, I call her Dr. Brenda because I don't know, she feels like Dr. Brenda to me. But I'm gonna let her tell you a little bit more about herself and the programs she's a part of over at, I'm gonna say it right, Houston City College. So thank you all so much for being here today, and I'll pop back in at the end with some closing comments.
Well, Valerie, thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to present to you all here at USDLA. I want to thank everybody for joining me today for this session. I want to introduce you to a couple of projects today that my team and I have been developing and supporting faculty with at Houston City College, formerly Houston Community College. We just recently changed our name, probably about a month ago. And we've had a really great success with these projects. And I thought that maybe sharing them with you would help spark some ideas of how you could potentially integrate and use immersive environments at your universities and colleges. A little bit about myself. I have been working in managing EdTech and in higher ed K-12 for about 25 years. Currently at Houston City College, I manage 10 labs on 5 different campuses. And basically what we do is we support primarily faculty with the use of innovative and educational technology. So we support faculty in faculty labs, and we have labs that are called course production studios, where we have learning glass and faculty can come in and record lecture videos. And then we also have labs that are called XR labs, where we support virtual reality and augmented reality, but also 3D printing and vinyl cutting and things like that. So there are different types of EdTech products. Of course, we are also doing a professional development, with artificial intelligence, of course, being key as a topic now. I'm also past president of Texas Digital Learning Association and a member of the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board EdTech 821 Learning Technology Advisory Board, and I've done several panel discussions for them as well on artificial intelligence. And then lastly, I also teach adjunct for Sul Ross University here in Texas in their Master's for Instructional Technology program. And if you're interested in potentially getting a master's, please visit their website. They have a really good program over there. The other thing is I would encourage you, if you all have any questions as I'm presenting the information, feel free to add your question to the chat. Valerie will help moderate the chat area, and I'm happy to answer any questions. And then we'll also have a Q&A kind of at the end if you have any other questions. So having said all of that, let's go ahead and get started. So the question is, why do we want to use immersive learning? Well, there are studies that have shown that students learning in virtual environments actually exhibit higher levels of engagement and focus because they're not just interacting with the content that's in the learning environment, but are interacting with each other as well. Immersive experiences really can create a strong emotional connection to the learning process and really a deeper understanding of improvement and recall, depending on type of immersive environment that they're engaging in and the type of content that they're engaging with. And this, type of environment also really kind of meets a lot of the students where they are, especially our younger students who are really interested in gaming and using immersive environments anyway in different ways. Of course, this doesn't mean that we substitute any type of traditional teaching and learning with virtual reality and immersive environments at HCC. The environments that we've created and implemented are really just part of the components that we use to teach students, and they're part of like the instructor's toolbox. We don't and haven't actually taught any complete classes fully in an immersive environment. So we really use it to supplement learning and to augment and complement any traditional teaching modalities that we have in the classroom. So some of the benefits of using immersive environments include that for instance, the product that we're using, which is Frame VR, really come with pre-created environments. So a lot of them are really easy to use and to modify and to teach in, if that's what you want to do, and also have students work in. We have found that there's a pretty easy learning curve with something like Frame VR because we can pick from pre-created environments and kind of have that as a starting point. We don't have to develop any of our surroundings really to be able to have a place for our faculty and students to meet as avatars. The other thing that's cool about immersive environments is that you can meet and work remotely, right? So there's a component where you're using this on a computer or in a virtual reality headset. So you can do this through distance learning, but also in a face-to-face environment. And then the other thing that's really nice too is that you can also launch these environments on mobile devices. So if students are using their phones or an iPad, they too can interact within these immersive worlds. The other thing that's nice is that they are compatible and they integrate into learning management systems. So some of them will have LTIs, but you can also just copy the embed code into, your content page, and then students can interact with that in that embedded code or link to it. So what this means too is that if you don't have virtual reality on your campuses or you don't have a lot of technology like this, you can still use immersive environments in on a computer or in a computer lab, or students can access it on their home computers. The other thing is you can facilitate real collaboration within these learning environments. You can have real-time collaboration, you can do real-time teaching, but you can also schedule times where students come in and out where they can work on their own or meet as a team if they want to, which leads me to the fact that you can also break students into groups so that you can have group activities within these immersive environments and let students go off as their avatars and then bring them back into a common space area where everybody meets and talks about content or learning. So when we create these environments, we employ various building tools. So the first image you see there it says environment. Well, these are pre-created environments that come with Frame VR. So we can choose an environment that might suit the need of the learning space that we want to work in. But we can also upload our own spaces. So if you have a space that you find like in Sketchfab or a pre-created model, we've uploaded like a warehouse and then put content into the warehouse. You can upload those environments as well. But if you don't have one, you don't have to build it. You can use what's already there, which makes it easy. And then the other option inside of a product like Frame is that it lets you actually generate content internally. So we're able to add content that comes with a product, right? We can add streaming video, we can add whiteboards into the environment, we can upload our own models. And it also has actually now an AI feature where it will AI generate models for you based on your prompting. So of course it's hit or miss, you know, when you put those things in, it creates something, and either that's something you want to keep in your environment or not, you can start over. But you can also go to spaces like Sketchfab, which is what we have used in the past, and use a lot of free 3D models that might enhance your immersive environment. Or also, it's a place where you can direct students where they can find content as well. And the other important thing in these immersive environments, of course, are the avatars. And this kind of just gives you a sample of different types of avatars. Like that red panda avatar is just kind of a basic avatar that came with the program initially. But you can see on the right-hand side where you can use products like Ready Player Me, where you can make free avatars. And you can upload these avatars into Frame, use something basic or use something more extravagant, right? And so what's really cool about the avatars is that they kind of let the students represent who they are. It lets them be individual, and then it also lets you a fun thing is, you know, you can also use different personas in the immersive environment. So maybe come in as somebody as a career or somebody from history and use those personas as an avatar. The example of Zuckerberg was just like what his avatar looked like when Meta first launched. And you can see how it's kind of evolved and how they're starting to look more realistic. You know, they have better features and things like that as immersive environments are really evolving and developing, just like AI is. It's getting better and better. The other thing that we add are 3D models. So the 3D models really help make the environment. And what's nice about it too is that you can customize and put any 3D models that relate to whatever it is you're teaching. It's a little hard to see, but the image on the bottom is an environment that where we were creating a lab type of setting, a shop type of setting. And I actually took pictures. I went into that shop and took those pictures and then uploaded them and put them on the wall. And so it looks kind of like what it does if you go into the real shop environment. Again, what's nice about this is that these 3D models are accessible through the web. There's no special downloads, you know, and also you can upload into these products 3D models, 360 images, 360 videos, but also flat, just plain pictures if you wanted to design and develop the course or the content. The other thing that we place into these environments are just text. You know, you can put text on the walls, you can have floating text, but you can also add things like PDF documents. So here you see an avatar looking at a PDF document, but when the user clicks on that document, it actually brings it out onto the screen so that the user can see that document. And then as the designer and developer, you can set change the settings to where the students can actually download that content, or the user, whoever's coming to your site. Maybe you're using it for advertising for your college. You can upload PowerPoints, you can upload PDFs and things like that. And then they can be, the user can interact with that content and actually download it. So I want to now get into some of the immersive projects. Let me ask Valerie first. Valerie, do we have any questions or comments or anything in the chat?
Not so far. I was just adding in the links to the 3 products you mentioned, so people would have
Oh, okay.
Frame VR, Sketchfab,
Awesome.
and Ready Player Me. So, but
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
watching.
Okay, cool. All right, so the first project that I want to talk to you about is a project that we actually did with our cosmetology students. And so we began collaborating, it was in the summer of 2022, when HCC kind of started to adopt and experiment with immersive environments. We had done a presentation for the college on immersive environments. We had started having faculty approach us because they were interested in trying to find ways that they could include these environments in their classes and in their assignments. So after seeing the presentation, I had a cosmetology instructor approach me, and she wanted to figure out how could we engage students using immersive environments in a cosmetology class. And I was like, this is interesting. You know, how are we gonna integrate this? But basically what she was looking at was one assignment, okay? And what the assignment actually has the students do, and this is an assignment that, let's see, it follows Texas cosmetology regulations, and this is an assignment that they have to do based on the state of Texas, requirements, regulations for students. So what it does is it promotes business and entrepreneurship. And basically what the instruction says is that the students have to create their own salons as a business owner. And then when they create those salons, what they need to do is they need to include a waiting room for the customers, a workstation, styling stations, and shampoo bowls. And then they also had to, of course, do a presentation about their own salons. And what I want to show you is what a final project looked like before we actually put this into an immersive environment. So this is kind of what students would turn in. They would have a piece of cardboard and they needed to they bought like toy furniture and would put it into these displays, and all of these students would bring their heavy displays into the classrooms and line them up. And then that's kind of how they demonstrated how what their salons would look like. And the instructor really wanted to get away from something like this because of the option to use the technology now. And so one of the reasons that this was also great is because it helped to eliminate a lot of the costs for the students, because when they built those models with the toys and things, they had to pay for it out of their own pocket. A lot of the students didn't have funding to do it, so being able to use an immersive environment, not just only let them leverage technology so that they could learn something that was innovative, but it was also cost effective for our students to be able to move into a virtual environment to do this. So what we did was we provided student support. We provided a computer lab, access to a laptop. We had one-on-one guidance where we tailored the help for the students. And we also made sure that we had staff there to help the students so that they could use not just the computers, but the technology. And so this all, the class actually happened during a summer. And so it was an on-campus class, and we went in, and what we did was we met with students to provide them with training. We showed them how to use Frame VR. We showed them how to upload models, where to find them, because basically, when you're using these models, you just really download them and upload them is how they work. And we showed them how to do that. And we also showed them how to upload free images, the images from Sketchfab, and how to add flat pictures if they wanted to use pictures. And so we worked with them for a couple of hours, and then we showed up again for a second and third time if they needed us during their class time. But amazingly, these students caught on really quick. They pretty much just needed help the first day, and then they just became proficient in using it. It was a group project, so they did work together. And then, the other thing about Frame is that it is, it's browser based. So you can access this product from any computer, right? So you can work from home or whatever. And so the students were able to work remotely and work on the project too. So the project, it was successfully implemented. It was engaging, practical. The students really liked it. It was a different way for them to be able to accomplish the same type of project and get credit for it. They still did presentations. They got up in front of the classroom. They talked about their salons, how they developed it, and all the business components behind it. But instead of having these plastic models, they now had an immersive model that they could use. So the other thing that's kind of nice about Frame VR is that yes, HCC does pay for a license so that we can have multiple people in our sites. But you can also create a free frame site that allows up to 8 people into your immersive environment for free. So you could stagger people coming in and out. Or, what these students can do is they can use that frame environment and use it as part of a portfolio, because potential employers can go in and out and they can look at their sites. And so what I want to do now is go ahead and show you a short video of what the students accomplished. Hey, one of the things that, that we're really kind of proud of about all of these projects that I'm going to show you is that they're really student driven. So most of these projects, we really had the students contribute a lot of the content and really learn how to use the product as well. And so, I just think it's awesome that our cosmetology students know how to use a product like VR and Frame and to be able to build these sites if they want to. All right, well, the next project that we supported is a project where we integrated a immersive environment called Ovation VR. I don't know if any of y'all have used Ovation or if you're familiar with it, but this is something that we integrated and used with our speech students. But we really decided to use this primarily as a way to reinforce practicing giving a speech, mostly because, public speaking is one of the highest anxiety causes, one of the most, anxiety aspects of anything. Here I am getting tongue-tied, doing public speaking right now. Should have probably gone on Ovation. But anyway, so what we did was we have a bank of computers and a bank of licenses that we use across our system. We have a registration. So if a classroom wants to use our VR headsets, they can reserve them in a lab in our teams because we have different labs on all of our campuses. They will support the instructors. Primarily, it is speech classes, but we have talked to also other departments such as where they can find a job to practice job interviewing, because Ovation offers a couple of different types of simulations of where you're talking to people. And so in the fall of 2023, the speech program worked with our XR Lab at our central campus to launch the pilot. It was a 2-year pilot for Ovation, and we're still using it. We have the licenses for it. And each semester, we have speech classes who use this program. So I'm going to show you a demo of Ovation's kind of demo video to kind of show you what you could do with it.
Hello, my name is Alice. Hi everyone, I'm Alice. I'm going to be talking about the New York City office's performance last quarter. Thank you everyone for joining me today. It's a pleasure to talk to you all. I'm going to be sharing our first quarter results with you. Today I'll be reviewing our department's recent performance. We've made tremendous progress updating our website and online presence. Hi everyone, I'm Alice. I'm going to be talking about the New York office's performance last quarter. You'll note that surveys reported nearly a 30% rise in customer satisfaction. Here you can see that most of the increase is due to our improved website design and shorter response times to customer questions. Our marketing efforts have succeeded in describing the benefits of our growing list of helpful features. And there are many more great features on our roadmap. In addition, we've hired 2 graduates who've contributed significantly to our recent success. In closing, this past quarter has been our best yet. We're excited to keep this momentum up, and I'm confident we will. Thank you.
So what's kind of cool about this program is that while you're wearing the headset, and you can download this app in, the Meta headsets as well. The headset that they show in the video is not Meta, but it works in other VR headsets. Is that it will actually also create a report that you can view on how you do on your giving your speech or whatever it is you're talking about in the simulation. You can also upload your own PowerPoint and you will see it in the simulation so that you can look through it. As it showed in the video, it does have eye tracking. So it'll tell you it'll tell you that you need to look more at the people on the right side, the people on the left side, so that you're talking equally to your audiences. You can practice that. It will tell you when you're using filler words, how many times you say, and also it'll keep pace for you. You'll notice in the video, it showed when she put the mic down. So it'll also tell you if you're going too fast, you're going too slow, and it gives you all of this feedback. And so then students can remediate and practice this as often as they want to. The other thing that's nice about Ovation is they're adding some different components. So practicing a speech is a big component, but you can also practice an interview. And inside of Ovation, they have embedded Chat GPT, so you can tell the GPT what type of job you're applying for, and it will actually ask you questions based on the type of position that you're applying for. And then the other thing is they're also now starting to add, and I don't know if it's gone live, but they were developing another feature for police and firefighters, where they can practice de-escalation techniques and talking to, potential criminals or whatever's going on, but it's specifically geared for de-escalation of activities. So that's kind of a nice feature as well if you're interested in looking at the product. So we did ask for some feedback from our students with regard to Ovation, and these are just some of the things that they said. Virtual reality makes it a lot easier to practice and not be nervous. It's especially helpful with the AI feedback. You feel like you're presenting to an actual audience because you do have avatars in front of you, and they can actually stand up and ask you questions, and they look at you as well. You can take a little bit of getting used to, but it's like looking at, you kind of feel like you're looking at real people. Ovation helped me work on my vocal fillers, hand movements, and the tone of voice. And I would suggest using this platform for other things. It could also be useful for looking for a job. So the students really like it, and so do the instructors. Then the last project I wanted to touch on is a project that we did with our History 1301 instructor. And this was basically what she wanted was for the students to be able to work on a museum throughout the semester. And so we kind of began by brainstorming, and the students brainstormed like marginal groups or groups of people that the students could choose to represent within this museum. And so then what the students would do is they would look for primary sources and things that they could put into the museum based on these marginal groups. So once they chose the group that they would be in, they divided the group content really was divided into 4 sections. And so what they had to do within their marginalized group was find content for a pre-colonial history, the Civil War, early colonial, and then the Reconstruction in 1877. And so when we built these environments, they had like 4 walls. And so they would place content on each one of those walls that related to the topics. So the students worked together and they did it, one class during, I think they met several times, but they could also work virtually since it's browser based. And with this instructor, we worked on campus, but she also did this on one of her online courses as well. So the students would work together, they would find content, and then they were responsible for finding like 4 primary sources with a total of 16 items that they had to upload. We worked with the students. Here we are in one of our computer labs. We went in, again, we did training. We showed them how to use Frame. We showed them where they could find models, but then they also went out and found their own models. And then typically what we try to do, because we're really working with the immersive environment, not necessarily completely immersed in a VR headset, we do try to bring VR headsets at least to one class where they can try it on, immerse, and see what their environments look like. And they're able to do that. And they can also come to our XR labs if they want to. This is just a video of the students and their final product.
We're not hearing you.
Fun way to learn about history.
There we go.
It is fun to find historical documents and to think about what they meant to the people at that time. And the instructor also required them to do citations and things like that in there. So wherever they found the content from, they had to reference it and cite where that information came from. So those are just a couple of examples of ways that we have integrated the immersive environments. We have a couple of other environments that we built recently. This is, we have an English instructor who wants to do a mock-up for the Lincoln Douglas debate. So we kind of created this period piece environment. We also have another environment that we're working with that we're thinking about using as campus recruitment, where for people who can't come to campus, they can meet within the college. And then
Your audio is cutting in and out a bit. All right, sorry about that. We'll get her right back in just a moment, but while she is getting back into the room, gives me a chance to mention, if this is a topic you are interested in, the AR, VR, XR, all of that reality stuff that's happening in the world. We do have somebody coming in at the conference in June to do a hands-on workshop, extended workshop about this. We'll have more details shortly, but I just spoke to them this week and made the arrangements. So just so you know, if this is a topic, I know June's a bit away, but we'll be having more information about this person shortly, and maybe even get them to come in and do a pre-conference sort of teaser webinar. So if this is a topic, and it looks like this is a topic people are interested in, I just want to let you know we're gonna, it was something we expected people wanted to see, and so we will have, he's been doing some really immersive stuff. He works in higher ed as well as corporate, and has worked for several of the companies behind some of these technologies. So that will be very exciting. His name is Destry Hildenbrand, and he'll be with us. He'll be with us at the conference, so you can look forward to that. So I'm just watching for Dr. Brenda to come back in just a moment. So thank you for your patience. And again, I saw we had one question. I'm going to take a moment. If you had any other questions, I did see the question about how many licenses do they need for Frame VR? I'm going to make sure she gets to that one. But if anybody else had any thoughts or questions, please feel free to put them in the chat or unmute yourself and just let me know. Let me know what you want to let me know what you want her to answer. Let's see. So we will handle that. Also, I did, as we were going along, the 4 products that she mentioned, Frame VR, Sketchfab, Ready Player Me, and Ovation. I did put the links in the chat. So before you exit the meeting, here she comes. Before you exit the meeting, go up to the 3 dots and save the chat so you'll have access to those. I think her equipment just said, it's Friday. We're tired. We're getting out of here. We're just cutting off. It's just not happening right now. But let's see if we can get an answer, at least to the question about the licenses. And then we may get a few minutes of your day back, and we'll just have to have Dr. Brenda come back another day. I know she's got some other topics she wanted to share with us anyway. Yeah, how many licenses did you need for Frame VR or the I believe the question was up talking about the salon, but for any of the sessions, I suppose we'll just leave it at for Frame VR, for the Frame VR projects. And if I did not get the question stated well enough, please add clarification. I have to scroll back up to see who added that question. I apologize. I don't recall the name at the moment, but I'm trying to get this done for you so we at least get your answer. Projects. Oops. Okay. Again, our apologies. It's live television. I was actually mentioning before the session today that I was at a conference this week, and in the middle of the conference, the projector went off and I couldn't do any of the demos. So okay, but what were you all using? Does the institution have an enterprise license, or how's it? Okay, 1 license per seat. Okay. Okay, so I think that's okay. So you would purchase one. I'll just, for those of you who can't see the chat but can hear me, we'll do all the variations here. The free option, she reminded us, the free option allows you to have 8 people in a site at once. It's 1 license per site, so you would purchase 1 per site for each class. So it sounds like it's by the class. You can move them to a new site if you are the one, if the one you're using is not active. Yes, so they would purchase enough for the classes that they are currently running, and go from there, it sounds like, and then manage letting people, how many people are in the site at one time. It sounds like the answer. But let me get her contact information, and if anybody, she'll put the contact information in the chat. And yeah, I know she can see the chat. Thank you, Marty. I know she would be happy to come back. Brenda, can you, because she can't hear me either, can you put your contact info here if anyone has any, oops, I can't spell and I can't type and talk, has any other questions? Yes, we're going to blame IT. Absolutely. We always blame IT. So yes, and all the thank yous. And yes, I agree. These are great projects. I was not familiar with a couple of these tools. I'm going to be going and trying them out and experimenting. So we will put the recording. There we go. There you got the email address. So please feel free to reach out. She's always answered my questions, so I'm sure she'll answer anybody's if she puts up with me. but we will have Dr. Brenda back. We will absolutely have her back, and we will post the recording, so you can go back and look at the portion that we did, and we will have her come back. So I am going to thank all of you for coming. I'm gonna thank her in chat so she can see it. And please come back and see us the next time at one of our future events, and let me know. Oh, I see her. There we go. I can see her. We'll just say goodbye. And if anybody does want to hang on for a second and ask me any questions that I can pass along, I'm happy to do that as well. I'll stop the recording after I finish typing this message. So in case you want to say it offline. Yes, everyone wants you to come back. That's it. We're gonna do it as interpretive dance. That's what we'll do. All right. I'm gonna end the recording, but I'm gonna stay on for a minute in case, as I said, in case anybody wants to ask anything here at the end. But thank you all for attending, and thank you, future watchers in the virtual world. Now that I should feel like I should put this in a virtual environment. But we'll see you all again soon.